people tend to say when a person isn't crying or losing it, they call that being strong.
Right.
Right. So that puts that out there, the idea that being strong is you're not overreacting or even reacting. I'm sure that's not the intent of the person, but they're like, oh, you're so strong, be strong. I think part of being strong is letting how you feel out. It takes strength to do that. Right.
Or actually being strong, and like what you're saying, processing that emotion and letting it all out puts you in a situation where you can actually be strong because you have processed it.
Right. And is it a negative to not be strong in a moment of extreme grief? Like, you're supposed to be strong. Someone just passed away, or your heart was broken, or some huge disappointment. Why do you need to be strong in that moment? Why can't you just feel what you're feeling freely?
Right.
Allow yourself that space.
Yes.
I think the wording that we use actually makes a huge difference. When I think about myself, I'm an emotional person. So I overfeel, I think, everything. But how I handle it, those feelings haven't always been the best. So I do recognize it and acknowledge that I am going through something, or that I just went through something. But I think the ways that I handled it haven't always been the best in the past. A lot of it would come through the overeating. Although I don't feel, even though I'm overweight still, I don't feel like I use that as a way as much as before, where it was just really like, let me go grab something to make me feel better. Like, that was like literally my mindset.
Yeah.
Diving into school or work, like there was a time period where I had 4 part-time jobs and went to school full-time. And that's really when I put on the weight, to be honest with you. I just wasn't handling things that were going on in life. That was my way of handling it. They just stayed busy. So I feel like in different parts of my life, I reacted differently towards grief.
Did it have to do with the amount or the short amount of time between events where you feel like I don't have a chance to process this one because now this one is happening?
That did happen a lot. We moved a lot when I was younger. I had a great childhood in terms of my mom did lots of fun things with me, singing and painting and drawing and teaching me to read at a very young age, all of that great stuff. But we also had a lot of turmoil. There was a lot of moving. When I was 11, she married someone who was very verbally and physically abusive towards her, verbally towards me. And that lasted a couple of decades in terms of the level of abuse. And so the way I processed it was different in different stages of my life. I mean, when you're a kid, how do you process that stuff? You don't know what to do, right? So I'm fortunate that I didn't get into something that could have just changed my life for the worse. But I definitely didn't know exactly how to process. I wouldn't say I pushed it down. I didn't. There was a lot of anger there. And I think it came out with the way I was with my friends in elementary and middle school. Just, a lot of times you mimic what's happening at home with people. And I didn't realize that. I actually had a friend tell me that. And I remember that to this day. I think that's really powerful. And you and I were talking earlier about it really does take someone sometimes to point out things that going on because you don't realize your own patterns often. You're also viewing how people around you process things or don't process it. So you're picking that up as well. And it's just a lot, right? So if you read self-help books or you talk it out with your friends or you make sure you're exposed to people who talk about expressing and getting those things out and going through a process to deal with things, that helps you along the way. But that takes some work on your part, being open to do that. And it also takes having some of the right people in your life to give you those kind of conversations, to put that in your path.